Welcome back, everybody. So we are in the village of Karnak right now, and it is on fire. But we also just barely got released from prison for simply buying a weapon and walking out of a meteorite. The justice system here, I think, needs some serious work. What is going on, everybody, this week? I hope everybody is enjoying this Let's Play of Final Fantasy V. I am incredibly tired, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So in case people hadn't seen the news, this is actually a week late, and the main reason is my wife went into labor last week, and we had a baby girl. And we've been taking care of her and kind of getting used to when we're going to be able to sleep, when we get the 3 a.m. wake-up calls, which, strangely enough, with our baby, we haven't gotten that, so we're happy about that. We've actually gotten fairly good sleep, but now that I've said that, we're probably going to jinx it. But it's okay, because we're at the fire ship. I've been waiting for you. I can't actually remember what his voice was. Just as I suspected. Just as I suspected. The ship's engine is draining the crystal's power. The engine? Yes. If it's not stopped now, the crystal will explode. Will you do it? Do we have a choice? We're the good guys. You can enter here, but beware of monsters. Good luck. I actually have gotten a question as to why I give Sid the gruff voice every time. It's not really my fault. Ever since Sid got given a voice in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, I've always kind of envisioned that. The only time I haven't is the later games. But who knows? I might go back to those. I don't know. So yeah, it has been a busy week, and I apologize for getting things in late, but it's been incredibly hectic trying to get used to my new baby girl's kind of daily schedule, and being able to help out my wife, because they are both recovering from the journey of labor and having a baby. So, but yeah, that's what's been going on. I hope everybody is having a good week. I know that I am, even though it's very stressful. It is rewarding. I love having my baby girl in the world, and finally able to hold her and be able to help out with her. But aside from that, because you guys didn't come to hear me talk about nothing but baby stories, because I really don't have anything aside from what any first parent would say. Changing diapers isn't fun, getting used to, bathing your child, or cleaning up after your child, feeding your child. Obviously, they're hard things, but it's rewarding to me. So people can at least appreciate that. But I guess the real question that people are going to have, since we are going through the fire ship, is, were you able to get any games played this week? Not really. I was pretty much off consoles for most of the week. I did actually get some work done over the weekend, because we had by then kind of nailed her pattern to some extent, and I could actually step away for like an hour and play something. And I actually decided, so after beating Lords of Shadow 2, I finally gave in to the peer pressure, because I've been asked to play this for a long time, pretty much after its release, and that was Borderlands 2. I'm playing the PlayStation 3 Game of the Year Edition, which comes with all the DLC, and am I enjoying it so far? Yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm not that far, so like a lot of the memorable characters, and people want to know what I think of them, I'm not there yet. I'm just barely starting off. I started with a Gunzerker. It felt appropriate, because I did brick the Berserker for the first game. So I decided to go with the Gunzerker, who is basically just Sylvester Stallone. I did like the fact that there were new classes, so they didn't try to mimic what they did. They were similar in a way. So like the what was it? Roland was the soldier in the first one, and Axton is the engineer, I think, is what he's called. He's similar to Roland in the fact that he can put down turrets, and he can heal to some extent. We had another Siren. First one was named Lilith. I cannot remember what this one was named. Maya. And also Salvador the Gunzerker, which is the way I went. And who was the fourth one? Oh, Zero, the the assassin. And he is a first for Borderlands because he is a melee class, which, I mean, you could say Brick was melee, but Brick was only melee when he would go berserk, so that doesn't really count. This guy is melee a good portion of the time, I think. There are also 2 DLC characters. I have not touched them yet. I wanted kind of the genuine experience, and then I would probably go back and play them. Those are the Necromancer, and I believe the class is called the Psycho. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I just barely got off the first island, so I've freed Claptrap, and now I'm heading into the city of Sanctuary, where I met with Roland and was kind of surprised by that. Here's the thing, guys. I've spent the last couple years, I have not spoiled myself in this game. And I did not expect to see Roland in the game. And I love that concept, that a former Vault Hunter is now not necessarily training, but working with the new Vault Hunters that you now have access to. One of those things that I would really appreciate, but I have a feeling probably won't happen because that would be a lot of programming, and I only saw 2 additional classes, is if I could have played the more current Roland, and just seeing if they changed his talent trees or anything like that. Because aside from Brick, I also did try Roland a little bit in Borderlands 1. I preferred Brick over him, just because I usually play tanking classes in MMO-like games. But I took that on, and I gotta say, so people have wanted to know what my opinion is on the villain of the series, Handsome Jack. And, yeah, I could see... A lot of people were telling me, you are going to love to hate him, because he is a douche. And yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. He is a douche. But he's a lovable one. I especially love that he lords the fact that he is in charge of the Hyperion Company and owns the planet as far as anybody is concerned, and owns you to an extent. And I love the fact that he insults you every chance he can get. I love the fact that when he finally has a purple diamond pony, he wants to call it, what was it, Miserable Meatbag Like You. Except he calls it Butt Stallion, which I thought was even better. And I really hope there's a sprite for this, or there's a model for this, because I want to see Butt Stallion, just to see what it looks like. But I've appreciated it. I've also I will tell you, compared to Borderlands 1, this is a tremendous improvement. It has a much more engaging story. Like, the main story of Borderlands, and I made this comment a couple of times, is it's not that engaging. It's kind of like an MMO in that regard, and Borderlands 2 does it better because it actually engages you in the story, but it also makes you laugh along the way. So a lot of people might remember some of the favorite DLC that I had with the game, with the original game, was the Halloween one, the Island of Dr. Ned, I think? It's either Ned or Zed. One of the two. How it was just referencing all these Halloween references. It referenced Scooby-Doo, Harry Potter, a bunch of stuff. And, I mean, this game, from the get-go, starts with references. And I can't help but appreciate what they did there. I especially love that we got a guy who's supposed to be kind of like an Alan Quartermain kind of character. Oh boy, that handsome Jack, he's going to get what's coming to him. And Handsome Jack, I swear he's imitating somebody. I just can't tell whom. But it is glorious when he's doing it. I also love the fact that the elements that made the original Borderlands funny, they kept and even went further with it. I love the fact that we had what we thought was one lieutenant named Boom Boom, and no, it's Boom and his brother Boom, B-E-W-M. And I laughed at that. I was just like, oh, great. I love that one. But yeah, I just barely got off the boat. I'm trying to get into Sanctuary. I just barely talked to Roland, and that's pretty much where I left off. I was hoping to get more gameplay in, but I didn't want to make you guys wait anymore, and I wanted to be able to get this video up, because it actually kind of bothers me each week when I'm not able to upload a video. because I like maintaining a weekly consistency. So I promise that I will get better at that. And as my baby gets older, it's going to be a little bit easier to do. Now, we actually have some time left in this video. So, one of the things I'm actually going to get into is... so, a couple of people actually asked why there was no Geek News episode. Technically, guys, there was a Geek News episode. It was hosted by Stephen Romney, because he decided to take over for this week to let me take care of my wife. And a lot of people didn't know this, but yeah, a lot of people didn't know this, but they also kind of got on his case and said he hijacked my idea. I was like, no, we worked it out. And so people were mad at him. I don't know why. But yeah, and we'll put it up on the Geek News playlist, because I actually was able to make it in after I got my daughter to bed, but thankfully I got in there just in time, because the only geek-oriented story that I had seen at all was the Sesame Street HBO deal, and people were asking what I thought about it. And I mean, I'm going to be repeating myself here, but a lot of people didn't see it. Please go see the episode. It was actually really well done by Romney. My thoughts on it? Why HBO? I get that they were the ones that offered the deal, but you're telling me that Disney and Nickelodeon didn't offer a deal for Sesame Street? Are you kidding me? That's like guaranteed money for them. But no, HBO, the network of softcore porn, The Sopranos, Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Entourage, and Game of Thrones. That is who's now getting Sesame Street. And my Facebook, I don't know about you guys, but my Facebook and Twitter have been littered with Sesame Street Game of Thrones jokes. One in particular was the whole Daenerys, "Where's my dragons?" and Muppet dragons come out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, there they are. The other one was a newspaper article basically saying that the Big Bird has been brutally murdered, as he's basically become Ned Stark on Sesame Street. The other one was that we would have a special guest, Sean Bean, only for him to die. The other one was special guest Joffrey. It would be the first ever douchebag child to be on Sesame Street. I don't know if he holds that title, but, you know, Joffrey, hands off to that kid. They love to hate him. My question would be, like, one of my favorite characters in the series is Tyrion Lannister. So, how do you bring him into Sesame Street? That's a very simple question to answer. You don't. Because it wouldn't be pretty. There'd be so many questions by the end of it. You know, Mommy, why are they calling him an imp? But it'd be glorious. Just to see Peter Dinklage in Sesame Street. But yeah, so people wanted to know my opinion. I'm surprised that the other networks didn't just offer a ton more money, because it's guaranteed money for them. I mean, just think about it. If Sesame Street had gone to the Disney Channel, into their morning block, are you telling me kids wouldn't watch? No, their parents would totally let them watch. That's totally what they do. Despite all the controversy of Sesame Street, it still has a dedicated audience. So at that point, they're not going to let that go. And Nickelodeon? Holy crap, Nick Jr.'s ratings would just soar through the roof. Cartoon Network could start a kid-oriented programming with Sesame Street and already win. You know? That's just the way it goes. But they didn't. So that's my thoughts on it. I'm surprised that it's not going to another kid-oriented network, that it's going to HBO of all places, man. Oh, I just can't get it. It's like Breaking Bad going to the Disney Channel as the newest situational comedy. What the crap? But it's happening. The other story too that I saw, and a lot of people wanted my input on it, was the Resident Evil 2 remake has been announced. Capcom, it took you 10 years to finally accommodate to your fans and release this game, which depending on who you are, depending on what kind of Resident Evil fan you are, you might actually say that Resident Evil 2 is probably the most perfect game that has ever come out of the series. The only time I've seen that disputed was when the first game was remade, and then a remake came out of the remake. Because that game was so well done. So in a lot of cases, it just makes you ask the question, what can they add to the game? Oh, and we're gonna keep off that for a second. Queen Karnak! Eh? Yes, that's a girl. I'm surprised too, Bartz.
Death to all who impede my revival.
You're spitting up pea soup there, ma'am. So, at this point, we are into a boss fight because she overloaded the engine. And according to Star Trek Talk, that means we have a boss fight? No, it is Liquid Flame. Oh, no! Now, people might have noticed I have new job classes in the rotation. I have Bartz as a sorcerer, so basically that means he can imbue his weapon with spells. So, best way to explain that is, like, he can hit with ice to infuse damage and do more. And then also we have Galuf rocking the Summoner. So this is kind of the default appearance of the Summoner, and when it was decided, because I don't think they had a solid appearance for the Summoner in the original 3. I might be wrong about that, but there you go. I still have Reyna as a white mage, and I still have Faris as a monk, and the reason being, they're both really good at those jobs, and I don't want to lose the healer, and I don't want to lose the raw melee that I can get with Faris. But we are going to change her eventually, because we'll have a better combination to work with. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for this person to phase into the next one, he is just healing himself back up, so let's try and do some damage. Maybe this guy isn't like the Mist Dragon. And maybe he is. Oh, and now it's a hand. Now it's a hand. This is starting to feel like Clay Fighter, isn't it? So yeah, back to the Resident Evil 2 remake. So I'm excited for it. I will play it. I'm finally happy that the game that introduced us to Leon Kennedy is going to get kind of a revision. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because there were a lot of innovations in that game. Does this mean you have to go through the entire game and redo Claire A, Claire B, Leon A, Leon B to make it as good, or can you just merge it all together? I don't know. But I'd be interested to find out. Now, the guy that's working on it has gotten a little bit of crap, because he is the guy who worked on the remake of the remake. So he directed the remake of the GameCube Resident Evil 1 to PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not going to fault the guy. You know, he got it done, but the fact that they're handing him this brand spanking new project that is going to be way over his head, it makes me worry that this is going to be too much for him. But, you know, Capcom and Konami, they've been making decisions that everybody has some extent of a problem with. And I can't say I blame anybody. It's one of those things that has actually made me kind of sad, because especially with like the E3 performance of some of these Japanese companies, the American companies have made them look kind of silly. Minus Sony. But Konami is out. I mean, they're totally making pachinko machines now, and good riddance to bad rubbish. And that's hard to say, because I love Castlevania, but... And then Capcom can't make a new game to save their lives, seriously. Oh, and whatever was taking hold of her, she's no longer in the pea soup. Okay, and passed out. Your Highness! I was possessed by some force, an evil force, seeking out darkness. Your Highness! It wasn't the machine that broke the crystal. Something evil is trying to use it to be reborn. Please save the crystal. The entrance is through that pipe. Okay, so it's not that these crystals are randomly imploding, it's that somebody's actually making them explode. So let's get in here and see if we can save this crystal from its dire end. The fire crystal! Oh, look at that. And werewolf. Oh, you're safe! Galif? Back off, werewolf. Knock it off! I'm not your enemy! What? Galif, what's wrong with you? You know me? I can't recall a darn thing, baby. Who the blazes am I, anyway? Oh, and what's this? What's this guard doing? No? What's the guard doing? You there! Stop or you'll smash the crystal to smithereens! Something tells me somebody just got possessed.
This makes 3. Just one more and I'll be able to break the curse.
Excuse me. It's hard to do the possessed voice. No good. The lever's broken. Uh-oh. This basically means that the fire crystal go boom. But that's okay, because we'll get some job classes out of it. Oh, wait. Werewolf, what are you doing? Oh, no! Galif! You escape while I hold this back! Go save the Earth Crystal! Oh boy. Maybe you ought to just let it go boom? Now! When this crystal goes, the whole room will go up too! In flames! Get out of here and protect the last crystal! You don't have to yell at us. Werewolf! Let's help him. Of course. Nope. That ain't working. And that ain't working. Well, Galif, I'm counting on you. And boom. 3 crystals down, and Werewolf with them. But Werewolf, we kinda didn't care about you. Yeah, we really didn't care about him. And it turns out we are in a random basement. What the crap? Well, gotta wake everybody up before they're all burned to death. Uh-oh. The flames are dying! The crystal must have lost its power. So with that said, now, yes, it's shattered. The crystal is shattered. Thank you, Reina. Where's Werewolf? Probably the flames got him. We've got to hurry. This crystal is held together by the fire crystal. Or this castle is held together. Okay. You mean now that it's gone, this place is gonna blow? Exactly. We've no time to lose. Just because we had to add in yet another countdown. But it's okay, because we're in familiar territory. 10 minutes to detonation! No! Thankfully, we have a save point. Let's use it! And we don't even get a reprieve in the menu screen. It is still counting down. This is not good. Can we make it? Well, we have 10 minutes, so thankfully we know the castle. We've been here before, so it's not going to be that bad. And we did get put in a rather familiar place. The only downside is that now that there's no fire on the ground, we can actually grab some of these chests. And it's a lot of gold pieces, and it's some good items, so we can't necessarily say no to that. In fact, here we go. We're going to get this one too, and it's monsters! Oh no! Can we defeat them in time? That's the real question, isn't it? Can we defeat them in time? Thankfully, we got that one down, but the sorcerer is still up. Quick, before he imbues his magic, or his sword with fire. Then we're all doomed! Alright, well, we got him down. With 3 ability points for it, so... But, unfortunately, we are kind of running out of time this week, so we got that elixir, and we're going to go ahead and cut it off for this week. So when we get back, we are going to continue escaping from Karnak Castle.